Hello there again. I would like to take you on an adventure. Um, I would like to teach you everything that I know, which I have learned in my quest to learn the best and most effective ways to learn a foreign language. This is a quest that I began about some 20 years ago, and I think that on my journey I have also gone to many people who were successful language learners. Anyone actually whom I had met who had successfully learned a language, I asked them how they did it. And of course, maybe like you, I've watched every YouTube video there is by language learning enthusiasts, polyglots, and other people who have succeeded in learning languages. And I learned a lot of things from a lot of people. And I've also learned a lot of things from my personal experiences. So if there's already so much information, so many videos, so many YouTubers who are trying to tell you how to learn a foreign language, why did I think that we needed one more? And I think the obvious answer is because there is something there which is missing in all of these. Because when we look for advice about how to learn a foreign language, people often are only concerned with one aspect, and that is, how do you study, the act of studying. But what I found is that this is only a single aspect of what you need to learn, and it's only a single part of the puzzle. And this is exactly why many people learn how to learn a language, so they in theory know what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to study, and yet they still fail to meet their goals with language learning. So what are these other aspects which so many people neglect when we talk about what you need to know or what you need to do to learn a foreign language effectively? And in my own definitions, I've come up with, I think, at least four aspects which I think that we need to learn about in order to really guarantee that we will be able to learn a language successfully. That is, of course, you can only guarantee it if you dedicate yourself to it and put in the effort. But what are these four aspects then? And the first aspect is we need to learn something about language itself. Because most people, what you actually know about language is not accurate information. Most people have never studied language or linguistics. Linguistics is the scientific study of languages. Most people don't know anything about linguistics. So it means what you know about language then is basically just stuff that you've heard from your grandma and other people in your neighborhood. It's not scientific, it's not accurate information, and as a result of this, there are a lot of myths and a lot of misinformation about language, which gives us confused ideas, which then impede with our language learning experience. Now, when I say linguistics, I don't want to scare anyone away. You don't have to study for years or get a degree in college to understand what you need to know for learning languages. Anyone can learn it in just, to be honest, a couple hours or a couple days. So number one aspect, we need to learn something about languages. But number two, what do we need to learn? We need to learn something about our minds. Because of course, if you're successful in learning a language, where are you going to put it? You want it to go into your mind. So you need to know a little bit of something about how your mind works. And again, you don't need to know any kind of complex neuroscience or psychology to get the information you need to know about how your mind works a little bit in order to learn a language more effectively. Number three is the third aspect is what I was saying at the beginning, what everyone normally focuses on exclusively, and that is language learning strategies. In other words, what are the exact steps that you need to take, how to study, what to study, what resources do you use, books, apps, what techniques do you use when you use those books and apps. Do you read out loud? Do you do a lot of listening practice? Do you do a lot of shadowing? Do you do grammar drills? And so on and so forth. So there's real, what is the exact activities you're doing? These are language learning strategies. And you can actually understand and come up with your own language learning strategies and make sure that you're using ones that work when you really have a better understanding of these first two aspects, language in general and your mind. So I will share with you all of the language learning techniques which I have learned to be super effective over the years of learning successfully a handful of different languages. In the final aspect, we talked about language, we talked about the mind, and we talked about language learning strategies. So what is left? Well, I found that I have a lot of friends, or not so many, but I have a handful of friends who are all language learning enthusiasts, and they know everything there is to know about, well, I shouldn't, maybe not everything there is to know. They know everything that one could possibly hope to know about linguistics and about how second language acquisition works, about the languages of the world, and I would say they're actually much brighter, much more knowledgeable language learners than I am. And yet, despite the fact that these are really skilled linguists, they often are not able to meet their language learning goals. So why is that? It's because there's a hidden fourth aspect, which is also super critical, which is how do you introduce the practice of language learning into your daily life? How do you find the time? How do you make it a habit? How do you introduce this? Learning a language actually can bring a lot of big changes in your life. So how do you manage these? And it is only if you're able to do this that all the other stuff matters. Because it's no good with knowing everything there is to know about linguistics and language learning techniques if you can't find the time to sit down and apply that knowledge and actually work on it every day. So those are the four things that I will be introducing to you one by one in the series of this, in this language learning series. Yeah, so I hope that you guys have a lot of fun watching these videos, and let me know if you have any questions along the way. I'd love to answer and help, with that too. Cool. Good ending. Anything else left to say? That's it. Okay, good. See you soon in the next video.